we are Ukrainians, have the possibility and the right to build our European future. We haven't had such a freedom during the last 20 years of Ukrainian independence. I would like to thank you for supporting us during this difficult struggle, for not leaving Ukraine, for not leaving Ukraine or its political prisoners in the lurch. You, every of you, were fighting and were heroes, and that's true. And I'm very thank you. Angela was the strongest leader in the struggle for democracy and freedom in my country. Dear Elmar, you remained on the Ukrainian diplomatic battlefield along with Jacek Saryusz-Wolski. A little longer, and the dictator would have declared them both his personal enemies. They fought very hard. Radoslav Sikorsky is also the member of our big family, together with other ministers, forced the regime to sign the act of capitulation. Karl Bildt kept the Ukrainian authorities up late at night with his tough statements on Twitter. All of them worked very hard. They all worked as one united family. My dear Walburga haunted the prison authorities, and she fought like a lioness for fair elections. She fought for the fair elections. All of you, with all your actions, were at the epicenter of our revolution, and we appreciate this very much. We are all our big, big family. Here in Ireland, I must also mention the efforts of Pat Cox and Alexander Kwasniewski, who practically spent as much time in prison as I did. To some extent, they were in imprisonment as well, and they fought for the freedom too. I'll never forget your dedication to freedom. I will never forget your kindness and concern many of you showed to me and my daughter. Thank you very much. It is very much appreciated. It is appreciated by Ukraine and everybody who expects help from you. Together, we triumphed over dictatorship in Ukraine. But this is not a time for celebration. Not the time for personal stories. Not the time for a peaceful life. My native Ukraine has been a military invasion. A very cruel, aggressive, cynic invasion. And this was done personally by Putin. Ukraine's statehood is under threat. I know that here in this room is the strongest team that can protect the freedom and life of my people. On behalf of the Ukrainians in the whole world, I ask you to act now. We are in a very difficult situation again. Putin will go as far in capturing Ukraine as the Western democratic world allows him to do. If something as dangerous as Russian intervention had happened in recent years, I would have immediately turned to Wilfred Martens for his advice and support. I want to tell you that I miss him terribly in my everyday life. I think everybody misses him too. At times like now, we must draw strength in his firm belief in Europe. He believed and taught us to believe as well. There's always a European way for resolving the worst problem. This is what Wilfred taught me. He always knew how to deal with every situation. We must follow his lessons and remain loyal to his principles. We must now find a European, wise, legal and decent solution in this crisis situation. But there is very little time left. If we allow Russia, on March 16, hold a referendum at gunpoint on the annexation of Crimea, we will lose Ukraine and stability throughout the whole world. Today, I know in Ukraine are the most questions, the most global questions. I know that nobody in this room wants a new Cold War in Europe, and I don't want one either. We want the continent to remain united, free, and peaceful. This issue is the survival of our young democracy and our ancient nation. We Ukrainians will be the first to suffer from the return of old confrontations. But to prevent instability, it is time to show dedication, strength, and faith. The time has come to force everyone, including the Russian leadership, to understand that Europe exists and that it will not tolerate the largest European country being torn to shreds. There was nothing anti-Russian in our revolution. We respect the Russian people, and I know that one day, sooner than some may think, Ukraine and Russia will have the most friendly and fruitful relations ever. The Kremlin must understand that Ukraine is a state and not a territory, that Ukraine is a sovereign nation that is free to join Europe. It is not a vassal that will give into constant blackmail. It is not a colony that can be driven into a cage. We are different, we are free, and we want something else than that Putin can actually give us now today. For the Kremlin to understand the simple truth, we need action. We need strong Europe, which has always spoken in one voice. We need decisive steps and a coherent strategy. My dear friends, for the first time in history, Ukrainians died waving European flags for the right to be part of the united Europe. They were dying holding the Ukrainian flag. This was a decisive moment in European history, and it happened on the Maidan in Ukraine. Many of Ukraine's sons were shot in the streets. They were falling onto the ground, but holding the flags for us to be free. But the ones being shot, they were giving us their last hope to defend Ukraine. But stopping Russian aggression isn't just a matter of achieving freedom for Ukraine. We are talking about the freedom of the entire region. We are talking about war or peace in Europe. Please do defend Ukraine, and we will have a completely different country. In recent weeks, Ukraine became more than a country. It became a symbol, an idea, the idea of European freedom. the idea of European strengths. Don't let this be broken. Ukrainian elections are underway. Those who in this campaign deny the benefits of European unity, I will ask to look at the Ukrainian Maidan, and you will understand everything. Those who say the European Union was something good once, but the time has passed, I will say again, look at the Ukrainian Maidan. When people were dying for Europe, for our European dreams, for our European ideas, and you won't need any other proof. Look at the men and women who bravely stood there despite the bullets, threats, and cold and terror. Here is our proof of the success and strength of Europe. If the cynics out there still need proof, then you have them. They say the European Union is not ideal, but it was not expanded under the barrels of Kalashnikov's rifles, as Russia is doing right now. Europe grew because for decades the European dream inspired the spirit of nations. And as the Ukrainian people have shown, it continues to do so. Please do that, and the nations will follow you, such nation as Ukraine. I know that when we push back this invasion, and we will do this together, when the foreign armies are sent back to their own country, you will be proud of Ukraine. We will be able to build a new country, free of corruption, free from the use of force, open to all languages and faiths, a society based on the rule of law, a country without fear and terror. Basically, we are building a European nation. We will do this, and nobody can stop us. Please trust me. We owe this to those who died and those who are living. We owe this to you. And above all, we owe this to ourselves. I believe in Ukraine. I'm very proud of Ukraine. And I will take part and all my strengths in building of new Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to Europe. Glory to Ukraine.
Дуже дякую, дорогі мої.
Thank you very much, my dear friends. Thank you very much for the support of Ukraine, the support of Ukrainian nation, the support of our strategy to join you. We always with you, and we know that you are with us. Thank you.